السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله صباحكم. My dear equal brother, I will not call you younger brother because you're a master of your own, my friend. Minister Sardur Umar Zakov, a dear friend, truly, and a very close friend already. And I would like also to reciprocate and call you a brother within 1 week. The energy he emanates, not only in person when you meet him, but even in virtual meetings through the internet, is captivating. I'm glad to be his partner, and colleague, and inshallah a lifetime friend as we travel this journey together. But before I start, let me also tell my friends and partners in the government as well as in the private sector that I carry the greetings and best wishes of custodian of the two holy mosques, His Majesty King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz, who hold this nation, our brothers and sisters, the Uzbek people, and indeed the entire Central Asian region of fellow Muslims, of which Uzbekistan, of course, is the anchor country in the highest regards, and carrying on over the last 30 years since the independence of this great country. They are as committed as ever and more committed than ever indeed to the development of the country and the revival of this country to its old illustrious past. I want to thank you also, Minister, for the great hospitality which you extended to us before we arrived, with the meticulous preparation and the generosities. We think in our region that diyafa, or generosity, is something that distinguishes Saudis and Arabs, but we have found that you are matching, if not exceeding. I learned last night that they have a saying, مثل, in Uzbek, which says, الضيف يؤثر على الوالد. الضيف يؤثر على الوالد. Guest is preferred to father, I think, or parent, is the closest translation. And there is, of course, two values there that are very close to our hearts. Number one is hospitality to your guests, but number two, that the real benchmark is the parent, is the father. And of course, these are all Islamic values amongst many, many values that unify our people and our two nations and our two regions. As I mentioned, Uzbekistan is the heart of this region, and Saudi Arabia is no doubt the heart of the Arab world and the Islamic world. And it's overdue that these two anchor states in two important regions in the next era of human development and world evolution worked closely together. And I hope that in a small way, our visit today will contribute to that inevitable connection and tie and partnership that our two leaders have asked us to do, Minister. And as you mentioned in your great remarks, we are counting on this great delegation of leaders from the business community of Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan to help build many, many bridges, in addition to the bridges that the government and the people of Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan will be building in the next period. So indeed it does give me pleasure to visit this country once again. This is my second visit. The last one was a few years ago, and it only lasted literally a few hours. And it was at the beginning, literally in the first year of the president's term. And what a difference 3 years make. Just looking outside the window today, from all sides of the hotel, at what is happening in one city, great city, but it's still one city. And it feels like you are seeing a workshop of activity, of development. The tower cranes in every direction are busy from 7 in the morning, just like the minister and the president and everybody in this great nation in bringing a revival to its economic activity. So we come here with a lot of energy to be your partners and to contribute to this great development. Unfortunately, the people of Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency, don't know enough about the Uzbekistan that we see today as we visit here. For 1,000 years, Uzbekistan, of course, was a hub of scientific enlightenment, trade, and transformation. Famous for its Silk Road cities of Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khifa. And we in Saudi Arabia know more about the golden era scientists like Abu Ali bin Sina, al-Biruni, and al-Khwarizmi, which you mentioned with the invention of algorithms, and about your esteemed religious scholars. Some of them, of course, were born here, like al-Bukhari, al-Tirmidhi, and al-Nisa'i. Today, and building on that rich heritage, the Republic of Uzbekistan is once again experiencing a time of renewal and opportunity. And His Excellency was explaining to me last night that they are naming the next era for Uzbekistan as the third Renaissance. And he explained to me, of course, the first being the Islamic era. His Excellency, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, is spearheading ambitious economic reforms, visionary programs, and innovative plans to diversify the economy, promote growth and prosperity, while enhancing competitiveness and enforcing rule of law through a comprehensive national development strategy. And I can tell you from my contacts with global leaders in the business community, multilateral organization, that the business world is abuzz about the next tiger that is joining the global economy, which is Uzbekistan. It is heartwarming to see the impact of your country's determination and persistence illustrated by the exponential growth in foreign direct investment, as well as in tourism prior to the pandemic, which you mentioned in your remarks, Your Excellency. It is evident for the world to see that Uzbekistan government reform and opening up efforts have already yielded many achievements and will continue accelerating further transformation, development, and prosperity in the future. You mentioned that the economy is open just like a parachute. And I want to tell you that what I see is not a parachute. Parachute is coming down. What I see is a balloon rising to the sky. And the balloon has been let go to take Uzbekistan away from its restrictive past, if I may say, to a prosperous future. And in a balloon, you always need an engine to generate the hot air that floats the balloon. And gentlemen, I think that engine is sitting right there on the stage that is driving this balloon forward. Likewise, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and the guidance of His Royal Highness, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is keen on strengthening and expanding all ties that bind Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan, be them economic, investment, political, religious, social, or cultural. This investment forum we're participating in today is symbolic of these intentions and willingness. That is why actually we were scheduled to come a few weeks ago, and I said I want to hold it back because I don't want this to be a government-to-government visit. We can only do so much government-to-government. I want to take the time to bring the captains of the industry, of the business in Saudi Arabia with us. I want to bring the real leaders who drive the Saudi economy forward from our business community. And I'm so glad that the first activity we do in this visit is not an intergovernmental commission or a business or a G2G meeting, but indeed a B2B meeting that is coordinated and supported by the two governments. In this regard, I should thank my partner and now brother and dear friend, His Excellency Sardur Umar Sakov, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Investment and Foreign Economic Relations, for his continued support to creating this forum, ensuring its success and constructive impact. I firmly believe that this forum will pave the way to expanding economic and investment cooperation between our two countries. We in Saudi Arabia are willing and able to participate effectively in Uzbekistan's exceptional transformation program, which were illustrated in detail by His Excellency in his remarks. During this visit, we're launching projects and signing MOUs and cooperation agreements that will contribute to the improvement of infrastructure and other development projects in Uzbekistan. One of Saudi national champion companies, Aqua Power, has already paved the way and started in that direction by participating in competitive opportunities to meet Uzbekistan's ambitious plans to deploy renewable and clean energy projects with a total investment value of $2.5 billion. That's almost 10 billion Saudi riyals. Quite significant by any standards. But I was explaining to His Excellency in our meetings prior to this that in a few years, I want to look back and say that was a small step in the way to a much bigger target. Our ambitions are big, and we're starting big with these projects being launched this week, but the ambitions ultimately are much bigger, and they're going to be realized not by us as two ministers. We will facilitate, we will enable, we will break any barriers that stand between you, but they're going to be created through the meetings that will be conducted during the forum today and in the next 2 or 3 days when we move to Tashkent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is impossible to overstate the importance of the private sector in driving any country's economic growth. It has a pivotal and instrumental role in developing international collaborations and partnerships, as well as building business bridges that enhance investments. And I think it is so wise for the President to have a Minister of Investment who is also responsible for foreign economic cooperation. Because ultimately, foreign cooperation today has to be anchored not by geopolitical issues, not by security issues which are important, but the importance of economic global cooperation in diplomacy is certain. And having His Excellency lead both portfolios, I think, signals to the world where the priorities for the new Uzbekistan is. I can also tell you that as a resource-rich country in Saudi Arabia, our success for our economy is not how well we manage the oil sector. And I come, Your Excellency, from the oil sector. I used to be the CEO of Saudi Aramco. I spent 35 years there, and then the Minister of Energy. Our biggest success in Saudi Arabia is letting our private sector operate freely and having the right policies to allow them capital flows in and out, as you illustrated you are doing today in Uzbekistan, and giving them the space to excel, to grow nationally and internationally. And we're seeing them today with their great ambition coming here to Uzbekistan to take that great success that they have done in Saudi Arabia, in the region, in the world, to a very friendly country. Furthermore, the participation in this forum of esteemed businessmen and investors from both of our nations reflects the ambitions both our governments have of the private sector of our two respective nations. We expect the private sector's contributions to include increasing bilateral trade and investment and translating the investment opportunities and the MOUs that will be signed today into actionable projects that we measure, just like we are measuring the renewable projects being launched. I am deeply convinced that the economic relations between Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan will be further enhanced with the establishment of the Saudi Uzbek Business Council, which was just announced or will be announced today. Most importantly, this council will promote additional cooperation and mutual investment opportunities between our two nations. We in Saudi Arabia are providing full support to the Saudi companies abroad, and in fact we have a special program called Saudi International Champions. His Excellency Badr al-Badr leads that program and will ensure that any Saudi company who wants to invest in Uzbekistan has the Saudi government support, and His Excellency, as you heard from him firsthand, will provide that same level of support, if not more, from the Uzbek side. So let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by extending my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this event for their effort to make it a success, as I look forward to hearing the constructive dialogues over today and the next 2 days between the public and private sectors. I sincerely wish all participants of this forum a productive set of meetings and discussions, and indeed joint ventures and joint investments between our two great business communities on both sides. And once again, I thank His Excellency and his fantastic team from the ministry and the rest of the Uzbek government. I also want to thank the governor of Bukhara for the hospitality and all of the arrangements that have been laid out from our touching down in Bukhara airport to even giving me dinner at midnight last night. Delicious dinner, I may say. Thank you very much for the hospitality, and we're very proud of Bukhara as a heritage site for all global citizens, but definitely for all Muslims and for us in Saudi Arabia. And I'm sure many of us will be back in our personal capacity with our families to teach them what Islam used to be, but also how Muslims live today in a great country like Uzbekistan, develop their country, but also respect and live their great values. Once again, I'm sure this is a small step amongst many that our two nations are working together as we both launch great transformation that the rest of the world is talking about Saudi Arabia and Uzbekistan, and being catalysts for development in our region and the rest of the world. So a lot of promise, a lot of hope, a lot of opportunity, but I have to say a lot of responsibility on our shoulder not to miss this opportunity. This is one of those once in a generation opportunity to make a difference. And I am counting on all of us to really realize the promise, realize the opportunity, and create a better future for all of us. Thank you very much. Shukran, rahmat.